Welcome back to Sip the Tally Films, and today is Monday, the regular season finale of the Ravens Roundtable. And let's go ahead and get everybody in here, get this thing started. There's no need to run the same gamut that we've been running for 17 weeks. Let's get our regular cast of characters in here. Starting with my man here, Chris. What up, Chris?
What's going on, Coach? Happy to be here. Had to take a little hiatus last week, but I'm glad to be back with y'all.
Hey, nothing wrong with that. You got it. The main thing got to be the main thing, as Coach Prime say.
Yes, sir.
Next up, is this really hardball? Horrible.
Horrible.
Horrible. What up, Endo?
Chilling, what's going on? How y'all feeling?
Not much. We just feeling. We just feeling. This might be a Woosah day. Might be a Woosah day.
For what?
We're gonna talk about it. We're gonna talk about it. What up, Mike?
What up? What up? What's up, good people? Another week, 17 weeks, right?
Right.
I don't know if they thought we was gonna last this long, man.
I know, right? I know. We did every week, but the day after Christmas.
Yeah.
So we in this thing.
We here.
Last but not least, Jose and B. What up, fellas?
Hey, what up? What up? Channel 3 hoodies. Get them while they're available. Channel 3, baby.
While they exist.
And you know what? I forgot to say it backstage, man. Happy New Year, Chris. Because this is the first time seeing
Happy New Year.
New Year.
Happy New Year, fellas. Happy New Year.
Indeed.
I put an APB out on you yesterday.
Oh, yeah?
It was like, where Chris at? Did he leave the stream? I was like, no, he'll be back. It was 1 week.
Yeah. I'm back, people. I'm back, people.
They was looking for you. Let's get this thing fired on up. We'll start with QB play, as we always do. Obviously, Anthony Brown played. A bunch of people were saying they wanted to see him anyway, so they got what they got. And what you think about that, Jose?
Woo! Well, look, I mean, he's the third string, so I wanted to grade on the curb, and he has even less weapons than Lamar was working with, which was nothing. So he's working with less than nothing. And he threw 2 interceptions. One was not his fault. One was DeMarcus Robinson's fault. But with that being said, there's about 4 other interceptions that were dropped. So I gotta give him an F. He looked terrible. He looked awful. I know you're the third string, man. I get it. But man, you're still a professional, man. Like you go to practice. I know you go to practice, right? Like that. I mean, what are you looking at out there? He looked terrible. I can't give him anything but an F.
Yeah. B?
I mean, from what I saw, like Jose said, both interceptions were not his fault. The DeMarcus let that ball go right through his arms, like he didn't even know he was supposed to try and catch it. But I'm looking at the box score here right now, and it says they scored 16 points. So I think he had great command of the offense, if I'm being honest. And if Lamar can't go, I would honestly rather see Anthony Brown next week than Tyler Huntley. So I'm going to give him an F+.
Damn, B, I thought you were at least gonna give him a C the way you then you ended it by saying you'd rather see him in the playoff game and still gave him an F.
Yes, sir. I mean, Tyler Huntley's a straight F.
And y'all and y'all was in the Discord talking about what I was doing to students.
Yeah.
I gave you credit for molding those young minds.
Right? I gave him a break. I did. I gave him a break, and I got to talk about off camera what the stuff I got back today.
Oh boy,
it wasn't worth it.
Mr. Evans, I need more time.
Exactly. Mike, what you think about the QB play?
Man, he looked like a practice squad quarterback, right? But I did see one. So I'm a great. Guess what I'm gonna give him?
A B.
A C. C+.
I'm gonna give him an E+.
Oh.
And this is why.
Okay.
This is why. He averaged 6.5 yards per pass, and our second string does the same thing. So at least he get an E for matching that effort, right?
Consistency.
Yeah, he kept the consistency there. But look, me and Hendo talked. I'm like, yo, this is a preseason game for me. That's how I watched yesterday. He looked like a practice squad quarterback. I can't say much other than that, man.
Endo.
Whoo, Mike, you disappoint me. I'm gonna honestly get that young man a C minus. For
Wow.
me, for me personally, at first I was hard on him until I actually went back and looked at some things. First and foremost, he didn't know he was going to start the game. Like they came up to him like right beforehand and was like, "You got to start." He's like, "What? Me?" He went out there and played. Also, they didn't have Kevin Zeitler, they didn't have Dobbins, they didn't have Andrews, they didn't have most of the starting offense, and we still have the same wide receiving core. Now, what kind of changed it for me was the coaching staff didn't put him in a position to be successful. But even still, at the end of the game, he had the most passing yards that we've had in probably 7 or 8 weeks.
Ooh, good point.
286 yards. Lamar wasn't even putting that up before he went out. So, I mean, with
44 attempts though.
44, right.
Yeah, so Lamar was concerned about turning the ball over also.
Right.
But we could kind of run the ball, but we had to depend on him in the situations that they put him in. Now, like I said, I don't know if I told you, Coach. We spoke about a coach on your stream that if they'd have went for the field goal, got the 3 points, and ran the ball at the end of the second quarter instead of trying to throw the ball with your third string quarterback, that's a 10-point swing. And now the game is different. We may be able to run the ball a little bit more, and he doesn't have 44 pass attempts. So I think that the coaching staff failed him, but for the situation that he was put in, I think he did better than most of us really expected.
Yep. You good, Chris?
Yeah, I'm with Hendo. This is not the most QB friendly offense in the world, and like he said, that boneheaded decision before the half, like to take the time out and to get the punt, like, and then the play calling, like you're just gonna throw, like that's it. You're not even gonna run the clock out. Like, I don't understand what the thought process is there. Like, you're not gonna drive down the field with a undrafted third string rookie quarterback. You're not going to do that with, less than a minute left. So why even put him in that situation? Then he gets no help from his wide receivers. No help at all. Demarcus Robinson, he's played well considering what we have at wide receiver, which isn't saying much. But yesterday was just like, it's like he didn't even want to play yesterday, the way it looked. And, I give Brown credit because he did get more comfortable as the game went along. I think in the first half, like you saw the jitters, he wasn't setting his feet. He was kind of like throwing off his tippy toes a little bit. And then in the second half, you kind of see him get a little bit more comfortable and just relax and take it, take it slowly, just play ball. That's what it is. It's ball. And but like I said, man, the coaching staff just did him no favors
at all. And my thing is, I'm gonna give him a D because he did, pass for the most yards we've seen in a while, and he had one throw that kind of blew my mind. He threw a dart, but it was just one throw. He blew my mind. He fitted in a tight window and whatnot. But the early on, that would put it down for him. Even if there was an attempt to try to win and get up, to the 5 seed, maybe it was doused then. So it is what it is, man. And people were wanting to see. People think that because he got the 288 yards, he was doing all this versus the Bengals. Once they got that lead, they put it in cruise too. So, don't think about those numbers as tough competition numbers. They was trying not to stay hurt. I mean, trying to stay healthy, and they wasn't playing as hard. They was on cruise control. So,
Coach,
go ahead.
What was the Falcons doing? What was the Panthers doing? What were all these fourth place scheduled teams doing? They were cruising as well. We couldn't pass for 200 yards at all.
I'm sorry, the Panthers were not.
I'm sorry, Brady. I didn't mean the Panthers.
The Panthers were in it for the division championship, if I recall, at that point, sir.
And we're lucky they didn't have Sam Darnold.
And the Falcons were as well.
That is true.
For a time.
Yeah.
All right, let's keep this thing rolling.
Disrespectful.
I appreciate the 5, Joseph. Good evening to you, and go Georgia. And Georgia's
just scored,
dominating
again.
So I kind of figured that, but it just means more in the SEC. And then Marco G with the 5, he said, I tweeted you early in the week saying Snoop, his son was going to say F it, Jesse Bates down there somewhere. Turned out it was Brown who did it. Did he find Bates twice?
Nah, I think he found him once.
Okay.
He found everybody. Only 2 caught it.
Because again, which I probably should have said F because they dropped about 3 picks.
4. I counted 4.
Mm-mm.
They dropped a lot of picks.
I counted
Move
4.
on. Running back.
Hey, Coach, before we move on, I did have one question
Go ahead.
for Mr. Hendo. I got a message from our friend Shug. He wants to know where your Steelers shirt is. Yeah. If for those that don't know, Hendo had a bet with Shug on the last Steelers and Ravens game. He's supposed to be doing an entire week of streams wearing a Steelers jersey or a shirt. He was nice and let you say you can get away with a shirt, but it looks like you
he got me. Okay,
you passed on that.
So you're wearing the improper attire. I see.
Sounds like it's gonna be 2 weeks now.
No, that's false. We didn't specify what week. So
you start next week?
No, I have to find a shirt.
You was gonna do $20.99.
He met his off week is when he's gonna wear it.
Right.
When I'm not streaming, that's when he's gonna wear it.
once I find a Pittsburgh shirt somewhere, then I'll wear it for that week.
Yeah, they're real difficult to find if you don't look.
I did look. I went to Walmart, Target, Foot Locker.
In Baltimore.
Yeah, exactly.
I went to Royal Farms.
I neglected to stop by the clothing sections, but I mean,
I went to Wegmans. I mean, I'll get it, Shug.
He says it's coming. He says it's coming. Running backs. Start with you, Jose.
I'm gonna give him a D+. I like the way Justice Hill ran the ball. Mm-hmm. Justice Hill, he always kind of leaves me wanting to see a little bit more from him, right? Like he looks like when he makes some plays, like he makes some decent plays, but then he comes out the game. Mm-hmm. There was one run where he made like 3 defenders miss. Like they had him surrounded, and he made a nice little juke and cut to the outside. And I was like, yeah, I want to see more of that. Kenyon Drake didn't look great. He had a couple of drop passes on top of that. And, Gus Edwards got hurt and J.K. Dobbins didn't play. So, not a lot going on there. But I did like the way Justice Hill looked in spurts. So I'll give them a D+ overall.
D?
Yeah, I mean, I would give them a C-, I think. I thought that the guys ran fairly well. But, they're third and fourth string running backs. There's not really a whole lot to say there, right? They played okay, so C-.
Mike?
Yeah, I was going to say C- too. I mean, I think Drake has some, like Zay said, he had some drop passes, but I mean, I guess he was expecting to get some carries this week, but with JK being out, but I mean, to be thrusted in early because Gus went out early, so to be thrusted in, I thought he ran hard. He had a solid game running the ball, scored a touchdown. So I give him a C-. I'm still like, man, what's the name scares me, man. What's Hill, Justice Hill? It's something about him like where I just don't trust him, and he's had good games this year, which, they always come as a surprise to me, but it's just something about his style, the way he runs, the way he holds the ball. I just feel like he gonna fumble or trip over himself or something, but he was solid as well.
Okay, so Harbaugh.
Oh man,
I give a C-.
Let the man live.
Man, Mike going on Minority Report on Justice. Like, wait until he messes up.
I'm gonna give him I give him a D+. Kenyon Drake, you don't know what you're gonna get from him. I have to say I'm pleasantly surprised with Justice Hill. I know Jose and I have gone back and forth on this dude for a minute. He's turned me into a believer, but I understand what Mike is saying. He's just waiting for that time that he's going to turn the ball over. But so far, Mike, he has not, except for that one time.
I mean, he did, but
that one time. But overall, he's been pretty solid. He runs really hard, especially after injuries that he's had. He's maintained his speed. Hopefully, JK can stay healthy, because if not, we're going to have to depend on those 2 guys going forward. Because Gus, who knows what's going on with him? It's just he comes in, he goes back out. They get a D+.
You know what it is? It's like he doesn't always make the right decision on what hole to pick.
That is true.
And that is just, I just don't trust him with that. I mean, like I said, he has played a lot better than expected this year, but those mistakes are the things that scare me about him.
Chris?
Yeah, like everybody's saying, like they was all right. They were nothing spectacular, nothing, over the top that really inspires you. Like the way we've seen from JK the last few weeks. Like, once you go seeing JK and the way he runs and the way he's able to create, and then you watch, Kenyon Drake run the ball, it's like, all right, yeah, this it's not even in the same galaxy right now. But they didn't do anything to lose the game, or I didn't feel like they hurt the Ravens in any way, but it just wasn't anything to really wow you.
Gotcha. As far as me, I give him an A simply because of Tyler Beatty.
Oh, okay.
Right.
I give them
Yo,
Tyler Beatty. Tyler Beatty said, "Get me out of here.
Oh my
y'all ain't using me. I cut myself."
The way he looked, man, carrying that
Didn't
rock,
look
I was
explosive.
like, wait.
Didn't he look explosive?
Yeah, it
looked like he should have been JK backup.
Right.
Who would we have cut for him? I said Justice Hill.
Okay. Anybody.
Mike
Drake,
Davis.
Justice Hill, Mike Davis.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Like y'all don't have a second running back worth keeping.
I think they keep Justice Hill more for the special teams.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, even in that sense, right? Like when both Gus and JK were down, like that's the time you could have brought him up. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Yes.
And so it's just
in my opinion, it should have been him, Mike Davis, and was Kenyon Drake here at the beginning of the year?
Yes.
It should have been them three to start the season until JK and Gus got themselves together.
It's almost like we talk about Tyson Williams again. It's almost like the coach has a repeating pattern of not being able to identify or trust young players to put them in the game.
But you know what? Maybe if we'd have played him, we would have been what? We were 10-7, would have been 9-8 because that would have been one more rookie that touched the field. And he said if all them rookies touched the field, that's every loss. So matter of fact, let's count that up. Ojabo, that's one. Tyler Linderbaum, Hamilton, that's 3. The punter, that's 4. Likely 5. Cola 6. Travis 7.
Fa'alele
8.
Pepe.
That theory out the window. That's 9.
Jalen Armour Davis.
I can't
That's
believe
10
that didn't.
people right there.
I can't believe that didn't hold up.
That's 10 people right
I'm
there.
shocked right now.
Didn't Shamar Bridges get on the field too?
Preseason.
I thought he got on the field a couple weeks ago, or whenever he got
as a gunner or something.
Maybe, yeah.
No. That theory's out the window. Receivers or lack thereof. Mike, start with you, Mike.
We doing receivers or and tight ends or just
we do them all together.
All of them.
We do them all together.
Look, tight ends, man. Our rookie tight ends, I thought they played well. So I'm if I can break them down, I'm gonna get a tight. I'm gonna get a tight end group. I'm gonna get him a B+. Right. I think Kohler looked solid. You know what I mean? Likely was the only thing we had out there. So I get a young boys. I get them a B+. They look pretty good. Hopefully that's some promising signs to come for the future. The wide receivers, man. Sammy made some plays, and then he, just a lot of bonehead plays. My man representing Prochet down there.
Channel 3.
He got to know where he is on the field. You know what I'm saying? You got to know where you at, right? So that was just it. Like, I like Prochet as a locker room guy. I do think he is going to be a quality control guy, assistant GM or something eventually, because they like him here in this town for some reason. But yes, that's it. That was it. Like it's time for you to go somewhere else and see what you can do. So wide receivers, they get an F from me, but that tight end group, it was promising to see what they had.
Hendo.
Yeah, like you said, tight ends get a B. Isaiah Likely, 8 catches, 103 yards. Kolar contributed. If Anthony Brown would have been a little more consistent on his throwing, even Josh Oliver would have got in and made some plays. As far as the wide receiving core goes, they get a hieroglyphics minus. Just what it took till the third quarter before a receiver caught the ball. Now we coming off of last week when we had 2 receivers catch 2 balls for 18 yards. This week, just DeMarcus Robinson. Now you say you're scared that Justice Hill is going to turn the ball over. DeMarcus Robinson runs with the ball out like a loaf of bread. Like he's just carrying it around. He's dropping balls. Sammy Watkins, yes, he pushed off on that play, but he got open for like 30-something yards. And I'm like, go down, fumble. Here we go. They're just not giving this team anything. Like we don't have anything to look forward to with this receiving group. And Prochet, y'all gonna stop because Coach was so happy yesterday when Prochet made that catch. When I tell you, Coach looked like a proud father at graduation. Coach was sitting on his stream like, "That's my boy." I'm like, "No, Coach, it's a flag." He's like, "What?"
They did that.
Hey, look, I was so down and out when I saw a man step out of bounds, boy. That hurt my feelings, hurting to my soul. I say my boy had made a play. I was like, forget it, just throwing the ball. What you got to lose? Got him a ball and just snake bit, man. Dude, it's crazy.
Yeah, he just sucks at football.
That's what snake bit means.
Like he beeline for the out of bounds. Like he didn't get pushed.
Right. And see what had happened was when he threw his hand up to say he was open, the momentum took him out of bounds.
Big Red say he's just programmed to sprint towards the bench.
Red did say that.
Wow. Muscle memory.
Go ahead, Chris. Tight ends and wide receivers.
Tight end, I give the tight ends an A. I thought they played very well. It was a very good sign for both of the rookies. Isaiah Likely, he's showing that he just needs to be a part of the game plan even more. Like when Andrews is healthy, well, not healthy, but when he's in the lineup. But I know that's asking a lot for Greg Roman. He couldn't make it happen with Duvernay. Like couldn't scheme up any plays for him. When Andrews is healthy, he can't get Likely involved. So I know that's asking a ton from him to do. But the dude shows that he can make some plays even against cornerbacks. Like you line him up on the outside and he could make some plays for you too. I'd definitely rather see him out there than James Prochet. So if they could do that, then hey, keep it coming. But the wide receivers, it's a wasteland right now. Like it's terrible. Like you guys, like Hendo said, first catch from a wide receiver in the third quarter, and this dude got 46 attempts. That's come on, man. Like what are we doing here? And they finally got Tylan Wallace out there, my boy. And it's like they've been last year. They had Prochet on the bench and they had Wallace, doing most of the third, fourth receiver thing, and then they kind of flipped it around. And it's like, what has Prochet done for that to be flipped around? Give this dude a shot. You giving every old man wide receiver off the street a chance. Might as well give your young dude a chance. What do you have to lose? But I digress.
Apparently a lot.
Illegal touching, I guess.
Right. It's on you, B.
I'm gonna do wide receivers and tight ends together. The group gets a 0 because listen, not to say that Likely didn't play well or whatever. Kohler didn't look okay, but why is it that they have to look around and see Anthony Brown, see Mark Andrews on the sidelines, Zeitler on the sidelines, Dobbins on the sidelines, look over on the other side, see the Bengals players laughing and joking around, and realize, oh, this is like a preseason game, no pressure, and now I can make plays. I want to see you do it in a game that means something that both teams are actually trying to win. I don't care that you got 100 yards. Likely, you had 100 yards in the preseason too, and then you disappeared for 3 months. Oh, what?
He had a couple good games.
Yeah, he had some good games.
Yeah, he had a few good games. He had a few decent games.
He didn't specify 100-yard games.
I'm saying I said he disappeared for a couple months, and he did. Like we were on this show talking about where's Isaiah Likely.
Yeah,
We
but
were
they
at
don't.
one
Season.
We were at
Like,
one point.
No, sorry, go
Well,
ahead,
I mean,
Nick.
he does
Go ahead.
have Greg Roman trying to scheme things up. So
That's okay. That's all right.
no, it's not okay.
Right.
It's okay. It's okay in that you still got to go out there, and I've seen him drop a lot of passes too. Greg ain't go out there and swat his arms down, did he? I'm pretty sure he didn't.
We got to define a lot of passes because it's a lot is what DeMarcus Robinson did yesterday. You know, you get thrown the ball once and then you drop it. That puts the thing in your head that he's dropping the ball a lot. But in reality, you only getting one target a game.
Yeah.
It's tough.
If you're getting one target a game and you dropping one target a game, you dropping a lot of passes. It's what you do with the opportunities you get, right?
He got a lot yesterday.
He didn't do a lot early on in the season. Like, he had a few good games this year. But what I'm saying is, you can't see these guys make, big contributions, have big games when it matters. So
we'll find out next week.
Right. Yeah. Sure will.
Well, you know what? Why didn't we find out last week when they needed to beat the Steelers? Why didn't we find out then?
Because Andrews
why we gotta find out next week?
Andrews was healthy. Not we threw the ball 10 times and 9 of them was Andrews.
Yeah. I'm telling you, he can't have multiple weapons. It's like, no, we just gotta have one dude.
I've seen him have multiple weapons in his offense before.
Not this year. Not this year.
Not this year in Baltimore, because y'all don't have multiple weapons. But on other teams, they've had multiple guys who can catch the ball and they produce. But not in Baltimore.
A lot of teams. It's a couple teams around here with 2,000-yard receivers, or right at 1,000 yards. So there's ways to do it. Let me run these real quick before I come to you, Jose. Marco G says Les Drewski and Oliver more likely in Cola. Where there's smoke, there's fire. Where there's Proscia. Why'd I read that? I didn't even see. I'm going to the next one. Love you guys. Could we throw Likely in the slot on some plays or make him the motion man instead of Ricard? Definitely. That's an option I stated, throughout the season.
What's Ricard going to do then?
Let's Ricard, like Marco said.
That's not an option in this offense. He has to go in motion. What the team's gonna know what we're gonna do if he's not in motion?
Jose, go ahead. Wide receivers.
You can't line up and block somebody
So my take on Likely is a little different, man. Like I like the way he looked. I like the way he's looked all season, right? Like he was a 4th round pick. My expectations weren't as high as a lot of people's expectations were. He's a 4th round rookie. Yeah, of course he's going to have some drops here and there. You don't have a coaching staff that knows how to develop anybody. But I thought he's done a pretty good job with the opportunities that he's been given. A lot more than Prochet. We argue a lot in the offseason about Prochet and his opportunities, right? And me and B just argued that he's been given some opportunities, not a lot, but he just doesn't do anything with opportunities, as you saw on Sunday, right? Like you got to know where the out of bounds marker is. That's that's football 101, right? So
can we move on?
But
can we move on?
hey, listen. I don't see anybody else wearing the Channel 3 hoodie. Okay, that's my friend. Okay?
All season long, nobody else.
But no, I think Likely has done an admirable job with his opportunities. No, I don't think he's any superstar tight end right now. But when you have Andrews healthy, he's going to get less snaps, right? And just the way this offense is not forgiving if you have a drop, right? If you make any mistake whatsoever, you're not going to get that many more shots. So I'm okay with it. And just judging on yesterday's game, I thought he did a good job. Love the contested catch that he had against Eli Apple. Granted, it's Eli Apple, anybody can do that, but it's still a good catch. He made it. But the wide receivers, man, DeMarcus Robinson, that drop that turned into an interception. This is not the first time he's done that
at all.
And that's almost that same type of play, right? Like he can't, if you don't put it, if he goes like this, and if you don't put it here or here, If the ball goes here, if the ball goes there, he's not going to move his hands. His hands are going to stay right where they're at, right? Like he can't make any kind of adjustment whatsoever, which is why he's been cut from 2 teams already.
Hey, I don't think the Chiefs cut him. They just declined to retain
They
his
said
services.
they said no, thank you. We're good. No, I mean we're at the bottom of the barrel with wide receivers, man. It gets no worse than this. I'm sorry. We went through our list of who's worse, man. Like we play the Falcons. I was looking over at their sideline like, well, mine's the case over here.
Well, especially now that they cut D-Jacks.
Yeah.
What are we gonna do without them 2 catches?
Right. I'll give them a D just because Isaiah Likely, but this wide receiver core, man. I mean, what can you say about it?
That's what that has not been said already.
Yeah.
Bubba Dub, trash. As for me, tight ends, I give you a B. Because I like Likely, and I wasn't mad with what I saw to Kohler, being that was his first game. Oliver I kind of write off as just that guy out there, but mostly that grade is on Likely. Wide receivers, same grade. You don't get a lot of chances, so you got to make the most of the chances you get. You get a big catch, you fumble it. D-Rob with that carrying that ball like a loaf of bread. I hate that. So,
hey, but y'all want DeAndre Hopkins? That's how he carry it.
He different.
He don't drop it.
Hey, like Phil Jackson, you coach everybody different. You can't say the same thing to Michael Jordan as you can say to Steve Kerr. Let's go with O-line. Hendo.
O-line gets a D for me. I mean, listen, it's kind of difficult to grade this game overall because everybody was playing vanilla coverages. It wasn't because they knew they were going to see each other next week.
Mm-hmm.
So it was just certain things that weren't being done. But listen, even Ronnie Stanley was having a hard time out there. Like Trey Hendrickson was giving Ronnie Stanley the business. The op Morgan Moses. What do you expect from him? But I will say, listen,
call him the op.
He's the op. We've been calling him the op.
Like, he's so comfortable. It's like it's part of his name now.
Right. He's the op.
Almost didn't even notice.
Yeah, exactly. But for me, I give the O-line credit for once this season they played the same in run blocking as they did in pass blocking, and that is poorly.
I thought they pass blocked fairly well. Enough for a kid to throw for a 282 that really didn't know what he was doing.
Yeah, but you gotta think 79.
And keep in mind, we don't get no. 2
long passes. Then.
But that's you taking 2 long passes. That's still more yards than we've been getting past 5 or 6 weeks.
That is facts. He can listen. He can throw down. He can throw downfield. Tyler Huntley cannot.
Yeah, he's a better passer than Tyler Huntley.
He's a worse decision maker though. And that's
that ain't saying much of anything. Tyler would have answered your quiz with multiple choice fashion, right? Like, you don't make good decisions,
right?
The key to that joke is it wasn't a multiple choice quiz.
I forgot they're not in the Discord, but you should be.
You should be.
Right.
You should be.
Who up? Mikey, you up?
C-. They were solid, man. Look, 4 sacks, either way, some of those were holding the ball a little too long and whatever the case may be. But, they were all right, man. Like nothing great, nothing horrible. Like you said, Hendo. I mean, Hendrickson was getting busy. Hendricks, whatever his name is, he got busy on them, but all right, but it was solid. It was solid in my opinion. Serviceable. I'll say that.
That's that word, Chris.
Yeah, I thought they were all right. I didn't think they were terrible. I didn't think they were, spectacular. Kind of just like the running backs. Like I thought they were, they were all right. I thought Linderbaum held up really well. Like this was one of the matchups that I was like, when they drafted Linderbaum, I was like, ooh, that's gonna be a rough one because Reader is that dude, and he was out the first game.
Sure was.
So we finally got to see Reader because Reader's been wreaking havoc since he came back. And I thought he held up well. You know, he got beat, you know, a couple times, but I mean, that's
gonna
DJ
happen.
Reader. Yeah, that's DJ Reader. But I thought he held up, you know, really well. So, you know, major props to Linderbaum holding up. But yeah, you know, Ronnie didn't look his best yesterday either. But you know, I thought overall they were just all right. Nothing spectacular. Hopefully next week they come out and, you know, they kind of look like the way they were looking the weeks prior, where, you know, they were kind of bullying other offensive lines and able to open up some holes for the running backs.
Yeah,
Brandon,
scheduling conflicts, man.
They on you, right?
Miss one episode and they on you, man.
Right.
You know, my mistake. You know what I mean? That's my fault. You know.
All right, B.
I mean, we have 4 sacks and 7 hits, and the run game wasn't particularly good. I'm not sure. I don't want to give an F here, but kind of like you gotta convince me not to, right? You gotta do something.
No,
I don't think that
I'm not going to convince you because they committed a fatal sin in my book. They gave up a sack rushing 3, and we was blocking 6.
Forgot about that.
Yeah, so it's an F. But again, I didn't really want to give grades on this game anyway. Like Baltimore wasn't trying to win. Cincinnati, like you said before, you know, they went into cruise control very early in the game. So I mean, it was whatever. But it's an F.
Damn, Brandon. He said he blamed Jose. Damn.
Wow. I did tell Mikey earlier today. I was like, yeah, don't worry about it, man. And ain't nobody gonna jump over that. Man, Brandon knows me well. I'm gonna say a D minus. Yeah, it wasn't Ronnie's best game. Giving up that sack right there in the end zone. The play shouldn't have been called, but you know,
Thanks.
you can't give that up right there. They weren't the worst, but yeah, at the end of the day, you gave up 4 sacks, and like I said, like they ran the ball. I thought there were some holes there, but you know, we don't have great running backs out there either, you know. But it wasn't one of their best games, but no big deal. Like I said, it was a preseason game, so D minus.
That's fair. I was going to give them. I was going to have them in the C range, but you know, them giving up that sack. But you know, thinking about it, Zeitler wasn't out there. He was the only non-starter. I mean, so he was the only starter that wasn't there. Mm-hmm. So you know, I'm gonna hover him with a D because we did have some holes in the run game. You know, apparently he had enough time to throw for 282 yards because he can't run. So that wasn't an option. So I give him a D and we can move on with it. You know, nothing too good, nothing too bad. It just wasn't consistent.
Also, I want to point out too, because we passed so much, and you know, we got to see extended look at our pass game. It goes to show you how poorly it is. You know, poor route running. You know, and you have a quarterback that's holding on to the ball, trying to figure out who to throw it to, and it's like, well, nobody's here.
It's week 18, Jose, and we're still seeing screenshots of 2 and 3 guys within 5 or 6 yards of each other.
Yeah,
it's week 18. Well, probably now it's week 40 something because you think about OTAs and all that stuff where they were learning the playbook, and you still got guys. You know, and I understand early in the season, you know, somebody may be adjusting a route, trying to figure out, you know, how to make adjustments, you know, after the ball is snapped and whatnot. But this is every week, multiple times a week.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
every year.
Yeah, I think you can take it back to 4 years.
Hey, Big Reg, you need help. Big Reg needs help.
Big Reg took a week off. Now it's his. He said last week he was help him out. So he back.
He said D-Rob need to donate his fingers.
Hey, somebody in my chat box, Hendo saw it, said John Harbaugh couldn't motivate ice to melt.
That was Deshaun.
Couldn't motivate ice.
He's the leader of men, guys.
He's the leader of men.
Let's go to the D line. I start with D line. Almost. That's the grade I'm giving. Jose, you on you.
Yeah, I'll give them a C minus. Yes, almost there. Almost made a play. they didn't really give up any big plays. I saw like there was one that got called back, but other than that, they were solid. Just they didn't do anything special out there. That's all I got.
Chris.
Yeah, I think that's the perfect word. Almost, it's like you got really like drive killing plays, and you just let them literally slip through your fingers. Like that cannot happen.
You can't say that, Chris, around Big Red.
Hey,
slip through his finger.
I got my eye on the chat. Yeah, like just in a like just say the playoffs. You cannot let that happen where you got your hands on him on Joe Burrow on a big third down play and you just let him slip right through like he's Mike Vick. That can't happen. But I give them credit for getting pressure on there, but you got to actually finish that. It's not just pressure, because if you're pressuring him and he's getting out of the pocket and still completing the first down, then that pressure was worthless. Yep. So you're doing one job fine. I just do the whole thing to bring these dudes down and really kill the drive for them.
Wait, are we counting edge rushers in this, or just
the middle guys? Them were the ones. I mean, they got some almost too, so that's why I called them almost. B.
Yeah, I mean, I would give them a C. The Bengals couldn't really get the run game going, and I mean, like I said, it's just they were just okay. Like you said, just not enough play making, but nothing really terrible going on. So it's just, it's a C.
Hey, Kogan, I don't know why everybody want to say that. That was not Oweh that got drugged like that. That was Bowser. That was Bowser that got took to Wegmans. As much as I like to crack jokes on Oweh, that was not him. That was not him. Tendo's on you.
Yeah, they get a D-. I mean, they came close as usual. Like, it just seems to be a theme. Either they play well, they miss out, or they give up big plays. Listen, this game means nothing to me. We'll find out come Sunday.
Mike?
Man, what's keeping me from giving them a C plus B minus is those plays where they let Joe Burrow slip by, right? They had him. Those are plays that you got to finish. But otherwise, I think, they held Mixon under control fairly, pretty much for the game. They were getting pressure, and they got a couple quarterback hits. Hendo's my boy, Hendo's soon-to-be boy. Travis Jones looked solid. Broderick got there. Broderick been solid all year. Matabike, got a quarterback hit. So I think those, and it was good to see Calais out there. I didn't know how much I wanted to see him because, we're going to need him going forward. But I think they did their job for the most part, but they just got to finish those plays when they get those fingertips on Joe Burrow.
I'll keep tempting him. He said he's retired.
Right. You trying to reel him back in.
You throwing the bait out there. But as they played okay. I'm hoping with a C. Nothing spectacular. I just like the fact that we were getting pressure with 4 a lot. Not say that we didn't get home with the sacks, but we made him move, and which he's good at moving and throwing. But we were pressuring him and making him get off his spot with 4 guys. So, and we had 7 in coverage, which helps covering those 4 monsters they got over there. Outside linebackers, move on to them. The edge guys. Start with you, Jose.
D. It's almost times 3 with them. Like they had a lot of sacks that they let slip through their fingers. The game could have looked different just for that unit alone if they follow through on some of those plays. Mm-hmm. Happy for Ajabo who got that strip sack. Didn't quit on the play. But I felt bad for Justin Houston, man. always stole it. The one game always decides to do something. It has to be on the money play.
Took $500K out that man.
No,
Pocket.
1.5.
I thought it
Mil?
was $500K.
No,
it was
they
1.5.
better pay him that anyway.
It was 1.5 mil. They should pay it. They should pay it.
Because what's half a sack? It's not a thing.
Oh, I would have stiff on those jobs.
Yeah.
Coach Houston can't be mad at nobody but himself. As many penalties as he's called on himself while getting sacks.
Well, he's another one. All season, he's had opportunities to get that, and he just doesn't wrap up. So I mean, it is what it is, man. But that unit, that D, man, like they could have easily been an A. But you gotta follow through.
Yeah. They're another almost squad also. B.
Yeah, that's an F- for the outside linebackers.
Sheesh.
Like as I said, Ojabo got his sack. Houston and Oweh. They got in there one time, but this is on the strength entirely of Oweh trying to trip Joe Burrow, failing, falling on the ground, and then trying to grab him again and falling flat on his face while Joe Burrow ran by him for 8 yards. It was embarrassing.
That was so funny.
I watched that play like 30 times.
You know who Ojabo look? I mean, not Ojabo. Who Oweh looked like on that play? What's the little fighter on Street Fighter that be doing the flips and spinning around? the Kapawata. That's what he looked like.
I thought you were gonna say like Oweh from earlier in the season where he got his first sack laying flat on his stomach, just reaching out his arm.
Similar.
But no, that play alone for me brings your grade all the way down.
Yeah,
that was awful.
Mike.
Ojabo. I just got one word to say. Ojabo. All right. Hey, we've been waiting to see something. He made a play. Right. Now let's hope this turns into more and more plays, and he could take some time from his buddy Oweh. So I mean, look, this was a game where I'm not gonna give him an F. I'll say this. I'll give them a C minus. Right. Of course, you want to see them finishing plays. But I was happy what I seen out of Ojabo and making a play, right? Because that's what we need. We need playmakers on the outside, and he showed that he has some potential there. So let's hope that we build on that. But obviously they got to get better, right? And if he's there, it adds to that rotation that we were so excited about earlier this season. But I think they were all right, man. Look, you take away the fumble recovery in the end zone, and you talking about 20 points. Whether it was vanilla or not, they had their starters out there. So, your starters out there, we trying to play. So I think the defense as a whole was okay. They did. I think they were solid, but I'll get an edge rush to C. I think they were okay. They were solid. Obviously, we need better going forward, though.
Look at a D. Look at a D. I mean, listen. Yes, Ojabo got a strip sack. Second round pick. Yay, one play all year.
He's only had like 3 plays though.
Right.
My whole entire point.
That's a high percentage there.
Yeah. Listen. I'm giving him the pro shade treatment. All he needs is opportunity.
You might be right. Listen, I mean, we have too many opportunities, and not just in this game, just throughout the whole season where we let stuff slip through our fingers. This high price, overhyped defense just lets these people do what they want to do. But hey, maybe next week, huh?
I feel like we the Cubs.
I'd say that.
Oh Lord, another touchdown. Who let TCU in this game?
A hardball.
It's on you, Chris.
The outside linebackers. I mean, yeah, like you said, another almost crew. Just letting things slip, not staying patient. Like B said with that Oweh play. It's like, man, you're athletic. Like, what the hell you doing? Like crawling on the floor? Like,
No, you ain't.
like come on. And And it was encouraging to see the Ojabo. You know, he brought some juice off the edge last few weeks. We've been getting some, decent play on the edges, but we haven't seen somebody who can, really jump off the line of scrimmage. And I think we saw some of that with Ojabo yesterday. I think he played like 20 snaps or something like that. So hopefully they can get him into the mix. And I think next week it should be a good time for them to really eat, because the Bengals defense, they lost Alex Kappa yesterday, so they got a replacement right tackle, replacement right guard. It's time for them to eat. This is the money time for them. To turn those almost plays into impact plays. And
what was
I think
Kappa's injury?
I didn't read, but I did read that their coach, the one that's always crying on the sideline, he said that he's probably not going to play this week.
Yeah,
Okay.
he's out.
Okay.
Gotcha. For me, it's just not finishing plays. So you can't get. I give you a D. It's just you had too many opportunities to finish plays, and from here on, well, not from here on out, but probably here going forward and here on out, you got to finish sacks. That gets your team better. The more sacks you get, the more sack fumbles you get, the more times you turn over the ball, the better chance of winning. So you can't be almost, not horseshoes. Let's see what we at.
Watch it, Rory. We can't talk about people with no hands. Watch it. Big Reg is here.
Oh, y'all tempting Reg. I know he over there typing delete. Typing delete. Trying not to type nothing. Let's go inside linebackers. Queen and Roquan. Start with you, Hendo.
I give Roquan an A+. 16 tackles. He was all over the field. Listen, I think he's trying to set a tone for this weekend's game. He's trying to intimidate them, let them know, look, I'm here. Win, lose, or draw. I'm tackling all of y'all before, during, and after the play. It don't matter. Now, Patrick Queen, did he play?
Yeah, he played. He made some tackles too.
Mm-hmm.
He cleaned up a couple of those wrap-ups that Roquan had.
He gets a C-.
And he got the fumble recovery.
Right.
That's
We graded linebackers, Hendo.
Oh, he gets a C.
So the group gets a C?
No, Roquan gets an A+. Queen gets a C.
So they get a B.
Yeah, so you get a B.
No, Roquan gets an A. Queen gets a C.
So they get a B.
So you get a B.
It's two different classes. Two different classes of linebackers.
They're on the same team.
Okay, they get a B+.
Mike?
Yeah, man, they get an A from me. Roquan. Look, this is the one thing that I took from the game, right? And you kind of hinted, you kind of went that route, Hendo. Them dudes were striking, right? And they was letting it be known, we don't care who throwing the rock this week. We don't care who on offense and who not playing. But we out here. And that's one thing, and that was a prideful thing that I took out of the game that I felt good about going into this week. Roquan, was everywhere. My man Queen, Queen played well. That's he made up for his game that his shortcoming a couple weeks ago. But yeah, man, them dudes get an A. They held it together on the defensive end, man, and I think that we have, I think we have one of the best duos in the league. Got to be top 3 in my opinion.
B.
I can imagine what Roquan would be doing if Pierce and Jones were in front of him, and they would still be watching the ball fly over his head, 2 wide receivers, and even running backs, and giving up, leads late in the game. But Roquan and Pat, I give them a B+ for this game. I mean, they played really well. That's really about it. Like, I just don't have a whole lot of thoughts on this game, just because it was not really a fully competitive game. But I thought Roquan played well. I do agree with Hendo. I think he's trying to set a tone. I mean, you saw how he assaulted Jamar Chase in the end zone. I'm sure that's going to come back.
That's a heavy word. That's a heavy word.
But I do like to see that kind of attitude from the defensive players. I mean, he bumped him a little bit, and I mean, that fan base is losing it. Mm-hmm. But no, I thought they played really well together. I would give them a B+.
Say?
Yeah, I give him an A for pretty much what B and Hendo and Mike you were talking about. Roquan just setting the tone. I think the way when you see that defense as a whole being as physical as they are, that's an effect of Roquan Smith. They were not hitting anywhere near like that before he got there. So I mean, just off the strength of that, I'm going to give them an A. But I mean, yeah, they're flying all over the place. Yeah, absolutely, they're trying to intimidate them. I would too, because the Bengals have a history of this, especially in the playoffs, right? Like they get bullied, right? That's what the Steelers used to do to them, right? And that's kind of us letting them know, yeah, we're gonna see you next week. What you gonna do about that? You know, yeah, I drove my shoulder into your chest. What you gonna do about that? You know,
150 and 2 touchdowns.
That might happen, but hey, it's mind games. Okay, you gotta play it. You gotta play it.
As far as me, you know, I've been a Queen stand for the longest, and Roquan has brought the best out of him and also elevated his game. And what he did, what Roquan did Sunday, as far as running around, being where he was supposed to be, and punishing people, during and after the play. I like that attitude. It was one play where Kyle made a tackle, and you know normally you just grab a guy, you kind of lay him down. Kyle basically tried to fold him backwards. I was like, okay, that's Roquan showing up in other people. So you know I kind of like the energy Roquan bring to the whole defense. Did I miss anybody? I ain't missing nobody on linebackers, right?
Yeah, I didn't go.
Chris?
Oh, my bad.
But like to piggyback off what you just said, Coach. I think you know in the first half, the way this game was going, it looked like it was going to be another one of those 40-point games like we saw last year. But I think that energy that Roquan kept bringing, it kind of woke the defense up. Like, no, this is not going to happen again. Like that 40, 41 two times, the way it happened in 2021. I think they fed off of that, like you said, and you know they only scored 3 points. I mean, you could say they took their foot off the gas or whatever, but you know, Bengals ain't take their foot off the gas last year. They don't seem like the team that's looking to take the foot off the gas. They want to put their foot on your throat and leave it there the whole game. And I thought the defense, they played well after that first half. So hopefully they could bring more of that and just be more consistent throughout the game, and the offense can actually look like an offense. So but I, like you said, man, that the energy that Roquan brought, it was infectious to everybody on the defense.
Let me see. That's the interiors. Let's go to DBs. Let's run with the DBs. I will say, I don't know, before we start, how much this stat means, but I saw something that says Marlowe didn't give up a touchdown all year. Is that accurate?
I thought he gave up one.
I'm not sure. I don't know.
I thought he gave up one to Jamar Chase on the first time we played him. I could be wrong. I don't know.
But even if he gave up one, that's
still
that's still impressive. Exactly, still impressive. But with DBs, we'll start with you, B.
I would give them, I think, a C. They held the passing game in check for most of the day, but also I thought Joe Burrow was having a pretty bad day on his own. He missed a lot of passes, particularly early on, that would have been completed if he was just more accurate. So I mean, I think a combination of him being a little off and the secondary, playing all right, ended up in just kind of a decent day for Cincinnati. So I give him a C.
Jose?
I actually give him an A. Physical play. Shout out to Daryl Worley, man. He was trying to take heads off. Yeah, he gave the one touchdown to Jamar Chase, but it's Jamar Chase, man. Like I don't count that against you at all. But it didn't take him out the game. He didn't lose any confidence off of that. Him and Kyle Hamilton, both of them, they were, they turned the physicality up. Marcus Williams, when he shot down that one play to blow up, was it Mixon? Joe Mixon in the backfield.
One of them, I think it was Mixon.
Yeah. I love the way they were playing, man. Like they didn't quit on any deep passes, because there was a couple where they got beat. But yeah, and to B's point, Joe Burrow was off because some of those passes were just underthrown, but the DBs didn't give up on the plays, and they were able to knock them down. And I just love the physicality, man. Like when you're playing elite talent like that, man, like you have to try to take them off their game, and that's exactly how you do it. When they touch that ball, you lay them out, they're gonna think twice about it. So yeah, A for me, man. I love the performance.
Chris?
Yeah, like like Jose just said, Daryl Worley. When I saw his name as one of the starters, I was like, oh man, it's gonna be it's gonna be one of those 200-yard days for one of these guys, whether it's Higgins or Chase. But to my surprise and everybody else's surprise, he did his thing. And I want to say thank you to B for letting us have him, because I know he was a former.
You ain't gonna be saying thank you next week in a game that matters. I promise.
Hey, we talk about this game. this game he did his thing. But no, and somebody else who I thought played really well was Kyle Hamilton. He brought a physicality to this game that we haven't really seen this season. I think he's played well as the season's gone on, but yesterday we saw a little bit of nastiness to him, and I think that's what we want to see a little bit more of. And that could be the Roquan effect, but like you said, he had his arms around Chase's throat, and he's like, "I'm taking this dude down. Like I don't give a damn. Like if it's dirty, it's not dirty. I don't care." And I like seeing that from him. So yeah, bring that nasty DB play, and hopefully they get MP back next week, and and Stevens too, because Stevens posted a video that he was in the hospital.
Come on, this guy.
Yeah. He posted a video. He was in the hospital, so hopefully he's all right. Yeah, hopefully he's all right. But shout out to them. They did their thing.
Hendo?
I'm gonna give him a B+. Like I said, they kind of set the tone. Marlon Humphrey, just for the season, for me personally, his games I don't even notice as he's playing. He's over there shutting people down. I give Chuck Clark some credit. He kind of took the cue from Roquan. He was playing physical. He wasn't a liability as he normally is in coverage. And I have to shout out, Worley. He started the game off with his Brandon Stevens impression. He was up there dancing, shaking his fingers. Then he got beat, and then he was like, "You know what? It's business. This is real. It's business," and shut it down. So, I give them all credit for playing physical ball. Brandon Stevens, he's in the hospital getting a confidence transplant. Hopefully he'll come back and be all right for this game on Sunday.
That's not cool. It's not okay to say that.
They're boosting up his confidence levels. They were low.
Go ahead, Mike.
Yeah, man, they get an A, and I'm glad everybody shouted out Worley. Cause look, man, I'm the same as you, Chris. When I seen who was lined up over there on Chase, I was like, Lord have mercy. And early on, I said something in the LBHT Discord, like, man, he looked like a linebacker or something. He should be playing linebacker. But man, he stood to the task, man, and I give him props for that. Y'all brought up Hamilton. Hamilton played well. All pro Marlowe, man. I've been saying all year, Marlowe out there balling, man, and I think that's somebody that took what happened last year personally and saying, like, man, look, these dudes can't do that to us again. So, and damn, Georgia, they up by 100 and they still chucking it down the field. But so like I said, man, I like how physical they played. And I like that it's a bunch of complaining going on from them and they fans that we wasn't playing, that we played dirty. That's cool. And I think that's depending who we got back there, Lord, please, Hill 8's knee. Because
Lamar is big for us, boy.
I feel if we get 8, I feel we're gonna win this game. Because I think defensively, man, I think we set a certain tone out there, and they're gonna be looking for that. And I think defensively we will be ready, regardless of who we got throwing the ball on the other end. But if it's 8, man, we got a chance to actually win this game, I believe. So I'm not holding my breath on that, but I think the defense is gonna give us a chance. They're gonna play, and I'm happy, and I'm confident about that. They gonna play.
I'm with you on that, because I started with you, right, B?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so I'm defense as a whole, they get a fairly good grade because that game could have gotten out of hand with the weapons that they got. But whatever scheme they, was running, I haven't seen it in totality yet. They mixed it up enough. And, we got caught in, a man when Worley got Jamar chased. But for the most part, they were where they needed to be. They put hands on people, so to speak, legally. And, God, receivers really think about that stuff when, the next time you see him, you got to come across the middle and you go from all the way out here to alligator arms. That's a totally different feeling. And, Roquan coming through there, doing the stuff he doing, just knocking heads off. It's going to be interesting. They're going to have to win the game outside of the numbers. And now you messing with Marlowe and maybe whoever's on that other corner. But I like the physicality Kyle brought. I think he's getting better in coverage, but it's just he can't cover those quick guys. You got to, we'd have been better just putting him on T, when he outside and just praying for that matchup because Boyd in the slot, those little small quick guys in the slot, he can't guard them. Now, put him there and blitz him. That's one thing, but you still got to, be able to cover him up in coverage. But as a whole, I was cool with what the defense did. If they can do it again, maybe even get a turnover. If 8's there, we got. I like you, Mike. I feel like we got a shot. That's why tomorrow's huge in my eyes because he can, he'll make better decisions with the ball, and when the crappy calls come in a row, he can do some stuff that get us out of. But he's the only guy we got that can do that. So we can hit coaching and GM real quick. Hit our normal F's. So I start first with coaching. F. Chris, you can go.
What can we say anymore? Like, it's you got a third string quarterback, undrafted rookie, and you putting him in horrible positions. Like terrible. Like you can't even be like, oh, throw the ball away. It's like, no, you shouldn't be in that position to begin with.
Yeah.
And it's just week after week, it's the same thing. I don't know why Gus Edwards wasn't in the game more. Then you ask Giro. Giro's like, I don't know why Gus Edwards wasn't.
Did you ask John? What did I say?
You see, that's wild.
Oh, man.
So it's like, who knows? Like, who do we have to ask? Like, why Gus isn't in this game? Like, the two dudes that are in charge can't say it. So it's just, it is what it is at this point.
That's the wild thought.
And hopefully Giro can surprise us and come up with a good game plan, but I'm not holding my breath.
You got the head coach and the OC talking about, I'm gonna check with Gus. I'll get back to you.
Hey Gus, why didn't you play a lot? Stupid. Hendo.
They get an F because of Harbaugh. Listen, 15 years. This man still doesn't know clock management. He still doesn't know how to carry timeouts. He still doesn't know when and when not to challenge plays. Like 15 years. And it's the same thing over and over. But y'all want to tell me this is a top 5 Hall of Fame coach? This man can't sit there and and stop the clock in a timely fashion. He can't tell his offensive coordinator, man, it's 28 seconds in this game, and we are at our 5-yard line. Don't throw the ball.
Right.
Don't throw the ball. He can't do any of these. What good is he to this team? If you can't give any advice offensively, if you can't give any advice defensively, what are you here for? Just to say that you are in charge? Because he has no input on his team because he never has an answer to any questions. And I think it's really starting to get to him because his press conferences now are getting a little more edgy. These reporters are starting to ask him a little bit too real of a question. And I think they asked him a question yesterday, and before the reporter stopped, he's like, we're not worried about that. We're not worried about that. It's not about what we feel. It's just, we're going to go forward. And I'm just like, bro, you ain't ish.
Right. Mikey.
It's running its course with me, like I'm not as hard on Harbs as my counterparts, but it's just the weekly and I guess almost daily press conferences is just it's annoying now. It's just like, and I told Jose earlier, like, won't he just started off by saying, look, I don't have an injury update on Lamar. Start off there, right?
Yeah.
Because that's what's coming. And then, like Jose said, then the reporters should just say, "All right, man, we'll catch you next week," or call us when you got an update.
Right.
You know, but it's just getting, it's just getting, and I agree with you, Hendo. It is getting, I think it is getting to him, right? He does just seem like a little more annoyed. He just seems out of it. Like this is weighing on him. This job is weighing on him, but it's just bad. The thing that sticks out to me is when they went for it on 4th down, and that was the longest yard I've ever seen. And you went for it and you ran the ball like that. So, you know, it's I don't know who makes that call, you know what I mean? But if he let that go by, you know, that falls on him. So this coaching staff is just, they all over the place, man. I mean, the defense, I'll get a young boy. I'll give him, because the defense was prepared, I'll give him a little better grade than that. But yeah, this coaching staff is just, it ain't good.
But Mike, the running back was 5 yards in the backfield, trying to gain a yard.
That's what I'm saying. Like I'm just like, what are y'all doing? Like, but yeah, I don't get paid the big bucks to make those decisions.
That beef will never end.
Yeah.
And by proxy, I hate his brother too.
Come on, dang, bro. You hate the daddy too?
No, I like that. I like that. Listen, even look, Jack will sit in the stands and be like, "The hell are you doing?" Like, he'll tell his sons, like, "You're stupid."
Look, that college game where Hodge wasn't calling timeout, they showed him. He like, "Yo, what are you doing? Like, call timeout."
Yeah, so I like the father. Can't stand the sons.
D.
Yeah, no, it's an F for the coaches. Are we doing coach and GM at the same time, or just the coaches?
It's all rigmarole.
Okay, yeah. So I mean, it's an F for everybody, obviously, but I just want to point out why it's an F for EDC real quick, because we had 2 of the people on this panel say, "Hey, if a top 5 player in the league at the most important position in the league comes back next week, maybe we'll have a chance." If Lamar Jackson's on the field, you should be saying they're gonna win by 2 scores, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because he's that kind of player.
Yeah.
But you just like, man, maybe we'll have a shot. And that's
I ain't say maybe. I said we got a shot if he played. But I mean,
you said I hope we'll have. You know, we might have a chance to win.
Actually, I said a slight prayer first. I said a prayer.
Yes.
And then I said we got a shot if he plays. But all things considered, I mean, he coming back from, you know, a knee injury, right? So I you know, and they talking about him wearing some brace or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Like
that's cool. He ain't wearing the brace on his arm.
But I like our chances if he get to play.
Do you?
I do.
Okay.
I listen. I want everybody in the chat. I can't see how many people in here, right? How many people in here, Coach?
204.
204.
Make sure you hit that like button.
Yeah, hit that like button and then subscribe if you haven't, and then subscribe to everybody else that's up here. But I want 204 to hear. I like our chances, even if Lamar don't play. But
now you just lying.
I do. I do.
You don't think this team gonna go out there and beat Cincinnati with Anthony Brown? Come on.
So
now.
hey, people in the chat. But people, that's a question for people in the chat while Mike explaining. Can we beat Cincinnati without Lamar?
Listen.
With Tyler Huntley or Anthony Brown?
Now,
either.
They're the same person. It don't matter. So
I need Huntley though. I need Huntley. I ain't gonna lie. I need Huntley.
You need the worst one. You need the worst one. You need the one who threw the game away against Pittsburgh.
Yeah, I need Huntley because Huntley is a little more secure with the rock. He's a little more better at game managing.
Hey, Mike.
If G-Roll go in his bag,
straight to them L's, man.
Hey, Mike. No, Mike. But look, Mike. At least Anthony Brown threw the interceptions when a Raven was in the vicinity. Tyler Huntley threw the ball up to 2 steals. It was
not
2 steals.
Not that first interception.
But there you go. There you go, Showcase. There you go, Showcase. If we can run the ball and set the tone there with the way the defense is playing, I like our chances, period.
With the way the defense is playing, y'all was down 17-0 in the first quarter. That's what you talking about, Mike?
That's cool.
What you talking about?
Cool. Hey, listen.
It's not the first 48. It's 60 minutes.
How many rushing attempts you gonna have?
How many of those points came? How many of those points came off of y'all boy Anthony Brown's turnovers and all of that? How many points did that come? That's what I'm saying. We gotta have a good look. It's gonna have to go damn near perfect if Lamar's not playing.
Tyler Huntley who doesn't turn the ball over.
I'm not saying that. Hear me out. What I'm saying is that's those 17 points. You know, that's coming off of turnovers and things like that. What I'm saying is it's going to have to be damn near perfect. If Lamar ain't playing, it's going to have to be perfect. Yeah. But if they can establish the run and keep that same intensity on defense, I like our chances in this game. I like the Bengals tripping up. Listen, how many have I been wrong on my not so fast picks this year? Have I been wrong? I have not been wrong. And this is my not so fast pick this week.
Everything depends on tomorrow and Wednesday.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Really Wednesday. Oh my Lord.
Mind blown. I heard somebody sit up on YouTube in front of hundreds of watchers and say, I think Tyler Huntley can go on the road and beat the defending conference champions.
I do. But
throwing it to goddamn DeMarcus Robinson
with stipulations. Okay.
Tell me I read the fine print.
He said DeMarcus Robinson going to outduel Jamar Chase and T.
I ain't say that. See, there you go. I did not say that. Now obviously we're gonna need JK to go for $150.
No, you need more than that.
We need Gus to go for 85
carries to make that happen.
And we got to be smart. We got to take points. It can't, none of that, 4th and 20 going for it. And, like the coaching staff is going to have to be in their bag. Like it's going to have to be a perfect game. They got to find it on their way somewhere. Hey, they got to find it.
They finally got the numbers to the vault. The vault will be open.
I'll tell you what's more likely to happen because Mike is just real optimistic. Bengals win the coin toss, score on the first drive, and JK doesn't get to 15 carries. Because this coaching staff loves nothing more than to abandon the run as soon as they get behind in the playoffs.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm not going to disagree with you on that.
Jose, on you.
First of all, I want to give a shout out to Rory. He had a comment earlier that I was looking at. He said the Harbs is here to preach effort and execution.
Oh yeah, I saw that.
Our guys fought. That's all you can ask for, right? You can ask for more, right? You can ask for that. you can ask for that first part. He's here to preach effort and execution. Right. He should be coaching effort and execution.
He preaches effort and execution to a certain part of the fan base, not to the players.
Yeah. I mean, they don't execute. Like that's why we're all giving him Fs. And by the way, it's an F obviously here. But that's the issue we have with Harbaugh. Like he doesn't get them ready week in and week out. Just going out there and playing hard. Every player in the league does that, right? Like you're supposed to execute. You're supposed to play smart. You shouldn't be having these pre-snap penalties every week that we gotta talk about. Mm-hmm. You should know why one of your better running backs isn't getting enough carries. You should your wide receivers should know how to run routes without running into each other. Like these are things that are just basic about it. But that's not why I'm giving him an F today. I'm giving him an F for even before the game. Why are you benching all your players? You weren't playing for nothing out there.
Facts.
Right? So, yeah, you might be playing for a coin flip, but there is still opportunity to get a home field game. And you mailed it in because your starting quarterback wasn't going to play. You got frustrated and you said, you know what? I'm going to mail it in because Harbaugh is a lazy coach. He's a lazy coach. EDC is a lazy GM, right? They're not stupid. These aren't stupid people. They're just lazy because they have a superstar Lamar that's been doing everything for them. In a minute, he's like, I can't go. They want to pack it in. They all should have been out there. Andrew should have been out there. JK should have been out there. Nobody should have been benched this week, right? They all should have been out there, giving their effort, trying to get that home field advantage. Yep. So F across the board. And obviously, EDC gets an F because look at that team.
Yeah, that was my point. Like I felt like they had a lot to play for. The opportunity to play at home, in Baltimore, that's huge, and I felt like they mailed it in.
Yep.
But let's see. So with that being said, man, that's about everything I got for this week. This week was really kind of a blah week. So we can let everybody know where you can find them, and we can ride on out this thing. Mike, what you got going?
I had an impromptu week off this week, but I'll be back next week, man. I am the host of Open Mic. That's the show where the mic is open for any discussion, no matter what it is, who it is, or where it is. I talk a little bit of sports. I also talk mental health. So if you want a little different side of me and eventually everybody else up here, go over there and subscribe. All right. I appreciate you in advance. A lot of y'all in here on the Strength of Coaching, I appreciate you, have already subscribed and got me to where I am. So keep getting your boys' numbers up, and I appreciate you in advance. I'm also 1/3 of Ring Kings podcast. We just did a live stream of this past weekend's fight, Tank Davis. Baltimore's own Tank Davis. So, we had to stay up to 2 o'clock in the morning to make that happen. But that is also the best boxing podcast in the game. I'm gonna say it.
Thanks.
And we there for not just the boxing peers, but we are there for the casual fan because we teach you a little bit over there. So, and I do that show with my brothers that's next to me to my left from where I'm looking, maybe to your right. But yeah, so go over there and subscribe as well.
All right, Chris.
You can find me on Twitter at Chris Just Joking. You can find me on the Deep Cover podcast, Deep Cover Pod. I think we're recording one this week, so be on the lookout for that, but don't hold me to it.
Hendo.
You can find me on Instagram and Twitter at @rgatekeepers. You can also find me on YouTube at Ravens Online Ungatekeepers every Sunday after the Ravens game for now, because we don't know what we got going on. Come free agency next season, I can't say. Also, you can find me on your favorite audio platform, Spotify, Apple, Google, wherever you get your audio podcast from. You can also find me there.
Jose and B.
All right, we are the Lunch Break Hot Take. We do a live show every Wednesday night at 7:15 p.m. Eastern Time on YouTube. We also stream live on Facebook, Twitter, and Twitch. All right, and we do an overtime show directly after the main show, which you can find on patreon.com/LBHT show. And like Mikey said, we three of us, me, B, and Mikey, do a boxing podcast, Ring Kings podcast. That's the logo behind me. You can follow us on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and TikTok at Ring Kings Pod and at LBHT Show.
And as for me, you can find me here on Sip to Tally. You can also find me on More Sip to Tally. That's the channel for the other 31 teams. And you're going to get draft content there and here. On Instagram and what's that? TikTok at Sip to Tally. And on Twitter is Coach Evans 9. So I appreciate you guys for coming through, man. It's been a great first season. We got to talk contracts here, in the upcoming weeks. So, get your agents and stuff together. But we definitely got at least one more before the season does whatever it does next Monday.
No, we got one more.
At least one more.
No, we got one more.
Hey, at least one more. We got
Coach. I'm saying, Coach, let's ask the people what they want. If they want us to keep going, let's keep going. If y'all enjoying this in the chat, man, because we doing this for y'all. So if y'all want it, then we got
it. Definitely can turn to an all sports thing till football roll back around.
I think
there's a lot to discuss in the offseason.
I think it's gonna be enough mess going on with this team.
A soap opera, a straight soap opera. So hey, we'll keep it rolling then. Keep it rolling. Again, thank you for everybody for coming out. Before you leave, hit that like button. If you have not subscribed, please do so. Make sure you follow all these gentlemen and get your Ravens content, for this playoff week, because it's a lot of yip yapping going on. So make sure you tap in and be informed. Make sure you go to the LBHT show Wednesday at 7:15. Hendo's pre-game show is probably Thursday at 7-ish. Is that about right?
Probably so.
Somewhere in there. And then we'll get a deep cover podcast with Chris, Carey, and Mike this week. If we don't, we'll get it next week. But whenever they drop, they fine.
One more thing, Coach. Go ahead. Everybody want to stop by. I'm not sure, 100% sure yet if he'll be on the show, but I know he'll be in the chat. Stop by the LBHT show on Wednesday and wish Hendo a happy birthday.
Yes.
Okay.
That is.
Yeah. Oh, he gonna be on the show.
75.
That brother shows up.
I'm gonna be on the show.
That's a good looking 75. Good looking 75. Hey, we'll see y'all next Monday, and throughout the week. I'm sorry, not next Monday. We'll see y'all throughout the week. Never know who's gonna pop up on whose show.
Facts.
Peace.